see all of you here today. And last week's live meeting, it went so well, we figured we'd do it again. So please make sure these three things, that you have your mic on. You can, bottom left corner of your screen, you can make sure that your mic is on, or not on, off. I'm already messing it up. Make sure your mic is off, that it is muted. You can also click on the chat button at the bottom of the screen in case you do need to communicate with anybody, and you could type a message or a question in the side column that will pop up. And also a reminder that at the top of your screen, you can click on or toggle between a speaker view or a gallery view anytime during the meeting, just depending on how you want to view the meeting and view the speakers. All right, now please welcome Rotarian and past president, Augustine Enriquez, for today's reflection.
Thank you, Kate. And as we thank Kate for a year of service as the president of our club, the Rotary Club of Portland, or as you all know, I've come to know it, the greatest Rotary Club in the world, we have the opportunity to reflect on a time of transition. It certainly feels like we are living in a historic moment. Global pandemic, an economy with historically high unemployment. For those fortunate to maintain employment, a dramatic transition to work from home, social unrest, and a national conversation about racism, about oppression and broken systems. Any one of those topics is heavy. Altogether, it's a major moment. I believe a really historic moment, and we're living in it now. And we, as Rotarians, are here. We are here to serve. That's our DNA. That's our DNA. That's our motto, service above self. We say thank you, Kate, for your service and your leadership. We know there is nothing permanent except for change, so we welcome Ruth. Thank you for your leadership. We are here to serve with you, Ruth. And I am looking forward to your year as president of the greatest Rotary Club in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Augustine, very, very much. Clap, clap, clap. Thank you very much. And if anybody else would like to do a reflection at one of our meetings, we're always open and looking for folks, so please don't hesitate to reach out to Siobhan or Corinne at the Rotary office and let them know when they could schedule you to do that. I'd also like to welcome any virtual guests. I see a few faces here that are not Rotarians yet. Thank you, each and every one of you, for tuning into our weekly membership meeting. And now, since it was such a hit last week, once again, we will all magically disappear from here and reappear into a randomly chosen room with a few other folks. Just like you would have a table talk when everyone is in person, we will now take, and it's going to be a little bit short today because we've got a lot on our schedule today, but we will take a few minutes to check in with each other. And if you'd like a discussion prompt to get the conversation going, how about asking each other this question? What is one way that you will be involved with our club this upcoming Rotary year? So go for it, Corinne, send us into the rooms. Today is, as you know, our official changing of the guard and my final day as president of this amazing club. So throughout this program, we will be welcoming in new board members and saying thanks to those who served their time. We will be passing on the Ken T. Bement Award to this year's recipients, as well as giving the first of what will now be an annual award, which is the Jan Tesh Leadership Award. We will be recognizing the committee chairs and all the work those committees have accomplished this year with the support of all of us, of course. And finally, I will be passing the torch to the next president of Rotary Club of Portland. But first, we've come to the part of today's program where I get to thank all of you, all 213 members of this club, for being a Rotarian with me, and especially these past 12 months as president of Rotary Club of Portland. This past year, taking direction from Rotary International leadership of wanting there to be an intentional focus on membership reflecting the makeup of our business world and the community that we live in, and knowing that currently half our club's membership is under 50 years old, and Therefore, the other half is over 50 years old. And we had talked about evaluating some of the activities and some of the programs that our club had been doing in the same way for a long time. There were many discussions, one-on-one, in groups, on committees, and lots of opportunity and asking for feedback, suggestions. And at our weekly meetings held at the Sentinel, I started meetings with a land acknowledgement. We also updated the economic forecast program to have greater representation on stage to reflect those in the audience. And the membership holiday party offered greater access financially and geographically for more Rotarians to be able to attend. Both of those events, they were successful, and both could be refined and tweaked even further to garner even higher and even greater success. Last year, I had said that I wanted us to make a space for people to be curious about and to create awareness about Rotary in the greater Portland community. And that was mainly about creating partnerships with other organizations in Portland. And we did start a pilot partnership program with 3 other membership organizations. And we started planning our mingling of events. And then a global pandemic happened right as we were about to have that first event. So we'll be regrouping on those plans, as well as we will be just settling into those new routines. We did revive the Public Image and Marketing Committee, and that committee developed really solid materials for external communication, including an annually updated service heat map of sorts, which shows the number of service projects and the dollar amount that our club contributes to the Portland community each year, and you can see that on our website. A few weeks ago, your leadership team made a statement in response to the rise of the public outcry of racial injustice in our society. We stated that at Rotary, we believe Black lives matter, and we denounce racism and all forms of oppression. We celebrate diversity, and we demand ethical leadership. We know that now we need to provide support those words, and for it to be meaningful action, well, our work has to be framed within Rotary's 4-way test and also within the Rotarian Code of Conduct. There has also been other Rotarians' voices in our district who have started some conversations, and we are currently seeking out individuals and organizations to work with toward long-term solutions in our practices, in our policies. And if anybody here is interested in being a part of that work in those conversations, please just reach out to me anytime. Please do. This past year has also been the second of our club's 3-year strategic plan, a plan that has 3 interrelated pillars of focus: activities, finance, and membership. And it also has some yearly metrics for the club board to be able to measure our progress against those goals and to monitor that progress on a quarterly basis. So first, with activities, we've been striving to have at least 1 service and 1 social activity available to every member every month. And we've been learning how to evaluate online engagement, especially these past few months, and defining the meaning and the value of that sort of online engagement. Our main finance goal in the 2nd year of this plan was to increase income for the club by $15,000. And though it became clear that we couldn't hit that income metric early on in the year, we are ending this fiscal year in a healthy place. And that's taking into account the fluidity we've had to modulate for these past 3 months. I have all the confidence in the world, knowing that incoming President Ruth, with her many years of experience in nonprofit leadership, that she's addressing the continued financial sustainability of our club, not only in her speech today, but also throughout the coming year. Now, with the membership pillar in our strategic plan, we wanted to have at least 60% of our membership to be defined as engaged members. And we defined an engaged member as contributing a minimum of $250 to the club each year, as well as being engaged in 60% of the available activities. And though we've gotten closer each year to reaching that 60% of membership metric, we are currently as of the end of March, at 31% for those that we would define as an engaged member. But for the first time in 10 years, we are at a net positive of membership numbers at the end of this Rotary year, where large clubs across the country have seen their membership decrease on average year over year about 10 to 15%. This year, we had a net increase of 2%, I know that's a small number, but we're up, truly. And I want to make clear that that number reflects not just the 32 new members that joined, but, and some might say this is even more important, we had great success that our membership retainment was a 50% improvement from last year. This excellent result speaks to the seeds that have been planted before my time as president, for sure. And it's been that diligent and consistent work that has us on a really good path with membership. With all that went on this year, it probably comes as no surprise that there has been all sorts of feedback, the whole spectrum related to changes. And when there's a lot of it, it can be really, really helpful and productive to have a group of folks to parse all that info with and to have discussions with and make decisions with. And I want to say in front of all of you, this entire membership, that I am incredibly thankful to our club's leadership team, those 6 club members who are in different leadership roles, plus our club's executive director. There is no way that our club would have the order it does and the trust and clear communication and our collective belief in the 4-way test. It just wouldn't be happening that way if we didn't have all that this year. So thank you, Ruth, Gretchen, and Reed, and Patrick, and Gary, and Corinne. A year from now, when we, all of us, are together, hopefully in person, in some sort of space together, it is my hope that when I think back to this year, the thing that I will be most proud of is the habit that I got into of acknowledging each of our visitors by name at the end of our weekly meeting. That relatively simple thing communicated volumes of not just how we hold ourselves as Rotarians, but also how we respect each other's valuable time and how we choose to spend that time. And just simply publicly thanking someone who isn't a Rotarian yet for the time that they choose to come hang out with us. I think that says a lot about the place that they have decided to join us for in the day and the people they chose to be with. So thank you to our guests today. I think James and Cammie and Rick and Brian, thank you. If you ask me what's my greatest memory of this year, I can't pick just one, and that's because my favorite memories all include moments where relationships were strengthened, participating in committee work, in service work, with fellow Rotarians, with Wheels of Power, with Program Committee, with Enterprise Academy, with the U40 cohorts, attending social activities like golf tournament or a committee hosted happy hour or a coffee date with a new member. Or in these past 3 months, there's been many one-on-one conversations that I got to have with other club members. There are so many great memories that I just go back to the common denominator, yeah, a little math, common denominator of all that. And that's something that I talk about with everybody about Rotary. I've been saying for 10 years now that I get to be a part of really, truly meaningful experiences and service work and relationships with folks that I wouldn't have the opportunity to do that with if I wasn't a Rotarian. So I'm finishing this now. I want to say the exact same words I said a year ago. In nature, diversity propagates stability in a group. It's a scientific fact. It is a key element of not just survival, but of being able to actually flourish. And I hope you see it as many opportunities in front of us as I do. The power of hundreds of Rotarians here in Portland, combined with thousands in our district, combined with 1.5 million in the world. What we as Rotarians can accomplish is truly exciting to be a part of. It's been my honor, true honor this year to be this club's president. Thank you so much. Okay, we got a schedule to keep. I got to move this along. Okay, each year, the president is asked to identify one person from the club who has exemplified service above self. This person often has gone above and beyond the expected and given much of their time to our club and the work that we do. So last year, Rotarian and past president Steve Watts was awarded the Kenyon T. Bement Award. I would like to introduce Steve now to announce this year's recipient. So go ahead, Steve.
All right, well, thank you, Kate. I have the monument here in my office still. Normally we would have the new recipient's name added to this and actually deliver it to that person today. I guess I'm gonna have to hang on to it for a little while longer before I can relinquish it, and I'm happy to be a caretaker of it for this period of time. I'm very happy to announce that this year's recipient of the Ken Bemen Award goes to Angel Pilato. And I can see her on the screen right there. What? She's saying, what? Well, let me tell you why. So yeah, and congratulations. So Angel's dedication and efforts in supporting our club is not new. She didn't just start supporting the Rotary Club of Portland this year. She has been enthusiastically active in our club over the entirety of her 22 years of membership, sharing meaningful reasons why Rotary is important and valuable. Examples include creating and promoting our Veterans Day programs, including coordinating and hosting a speaker, usually from her own network of veterans, and coming up with creative ways of to fundraise the costs associated with hosting them. Another example is being active in membership recruitment and retainment. We just talked about that, how important that is. So not just coming up with ideas, but spearheading those ideas into action, testing to see what would work. She helps out, well, pre-COVID, she was helping out at the registration desk every week, greeting guests and ushering them through their first visit at our club. Each week she would personally follow up with guests that were potential members of the club. And then the next is during this pandemic, she brought to the table the recipe sharing project and has single-handedly been managing that. And lastly, being incredibly self-motivated. I'm sorry, I'm blocking the screen here with my paper. Being incredibly self-motivated and in turn motivating many others of all ages, genders, and backgrounds. Again, we talked about diversity and why that's important. Angel has done all of this with a trademark sense of humor and a way of delivering information that gets everybody's attention. When Angel comes up to the podium, we know it's going to be direct and convincing. At her core, Angel believes in what Rotarians can and really should do. She never relents on communicating how important it is that it is all of our responsibility to maintain our club and its service to the community, and never forgetting the great fellowship and the appreciation that we have for one another. Thank you, Angel, for everything, and congratulations. This will be yours.
Thank you so much. What a surprise. I'm glad I came to the meeting today.
We're glad you're here too.
Yes, thank you. I'm just so touched, and I will continue my diligence because I really believe in Rotary. I really do. And we're gonna take it away next year.
Congratulations, Angel. You are above and beyond worthy of this award, and I'm excited for when you get to finally have it in your own hands. So I'm glad you showed up today too.
Yeah, no food, and I'm here, you know.
Yeah, right? How'd that happen? Glad you're here. I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next one. I'd now like to welcome Rotarian and past President Gretchen Walker to present the inaugural Jan Tesh Leadership Award.
Thank you, Kate. So it is my honor to be able to present this new award to one of my fellow Rotarians. The Jan Tesh Leadership Award is a new award that will be given annually to each club member who went above and beyond as a leader during the past year to their fellow Rotarians. The awardee has exemplified leadership in a way that may not have been expected nor known to be needed. They looked toward the possibilities of the future as they imparted guidance, encouragement, and collaboration for the betterment of Rotary and its community. This award is in honor of the leadership of Jan Tesh, the first woman to be elected president of the Rotary Club of Portland in 1997. The award this year goes to a Rotarian who's shown passion and dedication for over 26 years to our Rotary Club and Rotary in general. Over this time, he has served on both of the boards, served as president, and has been on too many committees to even count, and is the Rotarian that was integral to convincing me that I needed to serve as president. This award this year goes to Darren Hahn for his leadership with the 2020 project. From the onset, he has committed to shepherding this project, and he has been at it for over 3+ years. which was quite a commitment. Through the process, he has given constant and clear communication and updates to the club leadership, to the boards, and our community partners and the club as a whole. He has been adaptable, flexible, and attentive to not being disruptive to the other established activities going on at the same time, like the Trust Drive. He has consistently expressed excitement and pride of what he has been accomplishing and what his team has been accomplishing, and the long-term positive effects that our Rotary Club will have in this community. From the onset of the project, when pulling together his Project 2020 committee, he intentionally brought on and mentored leaders of tomorrow within our club, sharing with them the significance of our club's histories in these types of projects and having them experience firsthand what it is necessary to do this successfully in our future capital projects. Darren led this wanting to make sure that the next generation of Rotarians in our club would have experienced with how to run a capital campaign. A big part of being an effective leader is inherently knowing the team that you need to build for a fundraising campaign like this to be successful, and knowing how to build and develop future leadership within our club. Please join me in congratulating Darren. He's been amazing. Darren, did you want to say a few words?
I'm pretty much speechless. I'm just so proud that our club is, just made this happen. And I've seen lots of people step up, and it's really not about me, but it's about our future leaders, and our young people stepped up, our under 40 stepped up and made this happen. So again, I'm pretty much speechless.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Darren, for well, again, well deserved. For those that may not know, that 2020 project, we raised within our club $500,000, and that is going towards for the Morrison Center, Children's Morrison Center, that some of our members are involved with, both with building it and the architecture behind it, as well as being a part of the Children's Morrison Center. Excuse me, my words. I'm verklempt now too. There's just such goodness in this club. I love all you people. Rotarians. Okay, now please welcome incoming Vice President of the club, Reed Miller, to recognize our long list of committee leaders this year.
Thank you, Kate. And first, congratulations to Angel and Darren. You guys have done outstanding work all year, and proud to say that Darren was my mentor, and he, got me involved in Project 2020, as well as, speaking with me about leadership and sort of helping me out on that journey, getting me going in that direction. So thank you so much to both you guys for everything you did. On that note, I'm proud to say that our committees have been very busy and active this year. You should be seeing a list on the screen of all of our committees and our committee chairs who have made such a difference in our community this year. Ta-da! It would be difficult to highlight all of the accomplishments of every committee, so I will focus on just a few that stood out to me. Over the last year, the Wheels of Power Committee approved 24 applicants for power scooters and chairs. Recipients will use equipment to live more independently for shopping, doctor's appointments, libraries, parks, and family visits, to name a few. Even with COVID hitting, the committee continued to carry out interviews over the phone, and were able to get the chairs and scooters into the homes of people that needed them. Community grants granted over $56,000 to programs supporting disadvantaged youth at 9 nonprofit organizations. Domestic Violence Solutions Committee moved their donation time forward once COVID hit, to make sure that the organizations they support were able to get much needed support for their communities. Membership recruitment has been busy and helped us welcome 32 new members into our club this year. The Homeless Solutions Committee created new relationships with organizations around Portland, providing much needed homeless services to people in our community. This committee has continued to develop program ideas and connections with the homeless community. The Peace Builders Committee continues to support the Cypress Friendship Program, which is part of Rotary's global grant. They partnered with the Portland Children's Museum on a Peace and Friendship Month and supported youth in Winnipeg at a peace conference. And now, on that note, thank you so much to all of our committees and committee chairs and everybody that participated there. We now have a few of our members who wanted to say some nice things about our outgoing president, Kate. First up, please welcome Jana Cole. Jana Cole.
Sorry, it took me a second to get the button to cooperate so I could unmute. Can everybody hear me now? Yay. So I'm so excited to get to speak first to honor Kate. I think Kate and I were meant to meet because our past lives have crossed multiple times over the last 20 years even, through work, through Rotary, and through music. And with that, I'm going to play a little bit of music in the background, if I can get it to play. So if you guys have trouble hearing me over the music, let me know. But I have some thoughts to share about my interactions with Kate over the last 7 years. I think we just missed each other by maybe a month or two working at CMD, which is Creative Media Development, back in about 2000. We each managed to walk away from there, however, from our separate times there, having made long-term relationships with some of the same people. We finally did meet through Rotary, and I really got to know Kate through music. I don't know how many of you know that Kate is, aside from being a Rotarian and a business leader, she's also a singer. She has such a beautiful, natural mezzo-soprano voice that is rich in character, and her sense of style makes her a captivating performer. One of those friends that I mentioned earlier, Mike Spicer, who plays guitar, invited Kate and I to partner together with him on a little music project or group that we nicknamed Honey Panthers. While we never really performed under that name, we later took on the same vocal trio, which was Kate, me, and a gentleman named Torrin Nielsen, another former member former from CMD. And we added 4 kick-ass musicians and created a band that performed the music of Neil Young. We called ourselves Chrome Horses. Neil Young's calendar of music ranges from folk to country to rock, and vocally our group blended seamlessly across each of the genres while bringing tight 3-part harmonies and our own take on each number. Kate was a little bit nervous about performing live when we first started, but I'm so glad that she agreed to give it a go, because that was one of the most fun music groups I have had the pleasure of performing with. The background music that I've been playing is Kate covering Neil Young's song called Baby Mellow My Mind. So I'll let you hear it for a little bit. Of course, it's during the instrumental solo, so you get to listen for a little longer. I've been down the road and I've come back. Lonesome whistle on the railroad track. Can't got nothing but those feelings that I had. Beautiful, right? Brian, I'm glad to see you here today listening to your wife perform. Yes, Chrome Horses, go. We originally planned to have Mike and Torrin play live today for our changing of the guard, which would have possibly required Kate to sing in front of everyone. So she can thank COVID for getting her off the hook on that one. But since you can't hear us live or see us live, we thought that fellow Rotarians might like to see some video of Kate during a performance so you can see her in action. I'm going to ask Siobhan to help switch over the screen to show a video of her during a performance we did at Kelly's Olympian, and this is the band performing Alabama. We'll have about a minute and then I'll come back on, so enjoy Kate in action. Siobhan? we've all witnessed Kate's gift at creating harmony in a business setting, but she also brings the gift of harmony to music. Behind me is a favorite duet of mine that Kate and I did called After the Gold Rush. In armor, come, say something about a queen. There were peasants singing and drummers drumming. Kate, it has been such a pleasure working and serving with you. I'm getting verklempt. At a leadership level in Rotary. This has been such a crazy year of change, challenge, and uncertainties, but I can't think of a better leader for all that we've gone through. You have given so much of yourself and brought valuable expertise to your presidency and to our club to guide us through the uncertainty. In everything, you've inspired us as Rotarians to think bigger and think outside the box. I'm hoping, however, now that you're done with your presidential commitment to Rotary, that we can get back to making music together. But I want to thank you for all the gifts that you bring to so many and the joy that you have brought and continue to bring to my life. Much love to you, my friend. A few other members wanted to say some nice words about Kate. So I'd like to call on Rotarian Amy Jeffers to take it from here.
All right. Well, I did not know that was coming, so that is really hard to follow. And I didn't know any of that, so I am so grateful to know that, and I feel super emotional now. So, Kate, that must feel so special and embarrassing, but mostly special. To get to know Kate and watch her lead has been one of the truest gifts of the last year and a half for me coming into Rotary. I was lucky enough to get Kate as my mentor in the U40 program. I mean, talk about the best gift that anybody can ever receive. And I've learned a lot from Kate, and trying to think about what to say today that has really stood out has been one of the truest challenges in my personality that Kate does guide me through, which is pause, breathe, and listen, especially when times are challenging, when the person across from you is challenging, when the moment is challenging, when you need to breathe, a trait that is really challenging for me. Like I said, I find that guidance in her, and it's a lesson that I will hold at the forefront of my learning practice forever, probably never perfecting it. What we're celebrating today with this incredible leader, man, the list goes on and on of the things that she brings, but I wanted to share a few of what I think make her, a few of the things that make her so special and very deserving of this celebration. Thoughtfulness, so much thought put into everything that she does, says, and what she brings. Shaking. She sees the best in all the things, like all of them, which is so hard. She has endless energy to do all the things. I don't know. And singing, like what? How is that a thing? She's a devoted activist to the human spirit, which existed long before today and is so needed today. And I'm so grateful for that partnership in you. You live with the utmost integrity and you lead that way too. You are a woman that stands in your values with such clarity, humility, and grace. I don't know of any better role model than you. I love you. Thank you. And I think I'm supposed to pass it over to somebody else, but I moved my screen and I can't remember who's next. Hang on, it's coming. Okay, Dick, you're next. Dick Wingard, please.
Thank you. I'm very honored, humble, to be asked to speak about my friend, Kate Ertman. There's a number of attributes that Kate has which were clear and evident when she was in the queue to be selected, and she happily said yes. I don't know if I was part of that group or not, but I certainly contributed my suggestions to it. What did we see? Brilliance. She has an athlete's focus. If you know the story of the softball collision, you know that Kate knew what was coming and she stood there and executed on mission, even though it was at a physical cost to her. So she's not afraid of taking a stand. She is a math nerd, self-described. I am an enabler of her math addiction, but as an example of her math ability, did anybody notice how seamlessly she explained that 50% of our members were under 50, and therefore the other 50% must be over 50. I mean, that's great math stuff. That's even better than your tattoo that runs down your arm, Kate, with that formula that I always have to ask, what is it? She is a manager. She's been a manager in business. She's been a manager everywhere she is. And let me describe how I would describe a manager. A manager can listen with authority, which is what Kate does. You've been in meetings with people and you can see they're totally at sea or they're not listening to you. Kate listens with authority. And she exercised leadership, which I would describe as grace with firmness. Kate and I didn't agree on a couple things. She granted me an audience. She did all these attributes I've just said. Ultimately, she took it under advisement and she came to a different conclusion and took a different path. Again, that is leadership, because if you go with the wind and bend every time somebody talks to you, that's not leadership, that's paralysis. So Kate exhibited leadership in this club and she got us to consensus. I would remind all of you people, there's no such thing as unanimity. You can't have it because that leads to paralysis. And consensus simply means, and I feel I was in this group, I was heard, we went another way. When we leave the room, we're all together supporting the decision. That's consensus. And you do that for a true manager. So I would add that underlying all of this was a real friendship. Now, sometimes it's tricky when you have a friendship and you have a business thing to execute, because you got to be independent and listen from a business standpoint. But Kate and I were friends at the beginning. We're friends right now. That proves that we had a real friendship to start with. Kate, I am just real pleased that you took on this task, this leadership position, and you executed it perfectly. Thank you.
And it looks like we're going to go to Scott Burns next.
I think it was Cole Mills is supposed to be next.
But I don't see Cole, so we're going to skip over Cole and go to Scott.
Okay.
Sounds good. And thank you very much, Kate, for everything you've done this year. Incredible leadership. Back in the early 90s, I was part of a national leadership development program for the United States called the Kellogg National Fellowship Program. We studied leadership for 3 years. You are the perfect example of a servant leader. And in Rotary, where service above self is there, your leadership was just incredible. This has been an incredible year with COVID and everything else. And you and Corinne have just, and the whole board have taken us through this. And I just thank you for the leadership. It has just been incredible. You would go to all of the committee meetings. I was on the program committee meeting and you had input into it. And that was just wonderful to see that. Secondly, you are a great speaker. I work with all my students. I want them to be great speakers. You speak from the heart, not from a manuscript. You speak from the heart. And when you open the meeting, whether it is on Zoom or whether it is over the hotel, you are welcoming to everybody. And it is just wonderful to have that approach. I will miss the whole introduction of saying we are on the lands of the Native Americans who were here originally. We do this at Portland State at our graduation ceremonies, and I think that was very special. And we need to remember who our ancestors were in our area, and I think that that was very important. And also, you brought a futurist to us, and he's on here today. Brian, it's good to see you here. And it is wonderful that you do this. Just before I get off, I just wanted to say also special thanks to Corinne and Siobhan for all of the work that you guys did. And Corinne, you were going to retire and then you stayed on in order to help us through this. And I thank you. I mean, we have just run very, very smoothly. And to both of you, just thank you to everything that went on. And then here we are on the COVID thing and other members of the club. AJ, The happy hours on Thursday. You just said, we're going to do this. This is great. Angel, I love all of the recipes that are out there. And congratulations to your award. Darren, congratulations to your award. Unbelievable. I mean, the work that you did in that. And so thank you, Kate, to a great year. Thank you to all of the members of the club. I had to do Zoom lectures all through the spring to my 63 students. And doing a Zoom meeting can be disastrous. I pushed a few wrong buttons here and there. And Corinne, you've been doing a good job here, so congratulations. Kate, thank you for a great year. Thank you to you and Brian. And that talent of singing. Wow. Jana, thank you for bringing that up. Back to you, Kate.
Okay, before we get back to Kate, Cole was hiding out incognito here, so we're gonna unmute him now to say a couple of things. Maybe. There you go.
Thank you. I could tell you couldn't recognize. A little different than usual. It's tough to back cleanup after listening to all the words shared. First off, I just got to start with chrome horses. How did I not know about that, Brian? I'm not even going to throw that on Kate. How did I not know about chrome horses? That is awesome. We need to have a Tuesday lunch when we're back at the Sentinel that's a concert, because that sounded fantastic. The couple things that I would say is, on the personal side, I've gotten to know Kate over the years. I will say she's selfless in the sense that she's always willing to step up. I've bugged her every year over the last 3-4 years to come out to Enterprise Academy, not 1 day, but 2 days. A couple years, she drove all the way from Cannon Beach out to Estacada 2 days in a row just to be there and be present for our camp and to make sure that she was passing on her knowledge and wisdom around money and how money works in companies and teaching these kids about finances and things like that. And then to come back out to just be present for all these presentations. I've always been incredibly appreciative of that extra effort. I think my big takeaway, on the Rotary side of things and on, how Kate has led our club is, to me, it's all about what her singular focus about relevance. I think Kate has worked incredibly hard to make sure that Rotary is relevant to everyone in our community. And I think that it was the place where, we all know there's perceptions about membership organizations and they've all struggled across the board to maintain and grow membership and things like that. And I think a lot of that hinges on the notion that some people just don't believe that a lot of these organizations have relevance for them. And I think when Kate and I first talked, literally a couple of weeks before she took the mantle as president, we went and had coffee and we had a long talk about the club. And, being the learner that Kate is, she wanted to learn all about the finances and how the trust fund worked and how we allocate money to all the various committees. And being that I had just rolled off as trust chair, we spent a good long time talking about that. But a lot of what we talk about is how do we make this club relevant to everybody in our community and do it in a way that is respectful, in a way that everybody feels heard. And that is an incredibly difficult needle to thread. And Kate, I think, has done it with an incredible degree of class. I think she's done it to Dick's point. I think she's done it as being an incredibly good manager and an incredibly good listener. I always envision a room in Kate's house full to the brim of used up moleskins, because the woman takes more notes than anybody I know. And I know that it's not just note-taking for note-taking's sake. Right, exactly. What Kate does is she sits with somebody and she talks with them and she copiously takes notes, and then she goes and synthesizes that into an idea, into a thought. And I would just say that that is a leadership characteristic that I've taken from her, that I like Amy was saying, tend to kind of rush towards a judgment and tend to rush towards thinking I have a solution or an answer to a particular problem or question. And I've learned that there are times for thoughtful deliberation where you need to have your own space and time to do that. And so I thank you, Kate, for providing that kind of experience for me. And the only other thing I'd say is, for one last thing on the personal side that you guys may not know about Kate beyond singing and all the other talents, is her and Brian have an incredible horror movie fascination, I guess is the word I would use. But I still am trying to weasel my way into the Slaughter series. So just keep that in the back of your head. I'll end it at that. Thank you guys for everything that you guys have said. Kate, thank you for a masterful year, through incredible challenges, and it's been a hell of a ride.
I want to be real brief here, and thank you for letting me back in. Jana and Kate, my nephew's wife was the daughter of Neil Young's ranch manager. I was able to go offline for a minute just now, and I got a message from Neil for you, Kate, and it's about your work ethic. Are you ready? My, hey, Kate Ertman is here to stay. It's better to burn out than to fade away. That's from Neil.
How do I unmute? I'm unmuted. That Neil guy. My gracious. Thanks for getting that, Dick. That was overwhelming. So thanks to all of you, and it's been quite a year, and we are so behind on our schedule and our agenda right now. So a million times thanks to all of you for saying all these things. And again, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm going to go right back to this agenda here, where I'm going to now say Patrick Galvin and I would like to recognize each of the outgoing board members for the club and trust boards. So from the club board, we have Alex Hoffberg, Grant Thurston, Mike Sandoval, and Gretchen Walker.
And our outgoing trust board members, Phil Levinson and David Van Spabrock.
I would like to thank each of you for your years of service as leadership in our club. I really greatly appreciate the time that you gave, the thoughtful input to many of our discussions that we would have over the course of your time on the club board.
Phil and David, I appreciate your willingness to ask tough questions, to hold us to account, to make sure that we are great stewards of the money that all of our club members generously give to our trust. Kate is still muted.
There you go. Anytime I go to mute, Corinne has to release. Okay, so thank you to all those folks, truly very much, for taking the time and the thought and the energy to serve on those boards. Now I would like to welcome our incoming club board officers. Ruth Shelley as the incoming president, Reed Miller as our incoming vice president, and Maria Schell as our incoming president-elect nominee. I'd also like to welcome in our new club board members, Cole Mills, Mike Rosenberg, John Love, and Tara Henderson.
And I would like to welcome in on the trust board side, our new trust board officers, Gary Johnson, who's going to be our incoming president, and Maggie Bolger, who will be our incoming vice president, and our new trustees, Robert Kraft, Kim Cash, Mike Lester, and Grant Thurston. Welcome. It's great to have you on the trust board.
And you will all serve the Rotary Club of Portland in important leadership positions, as you can see by all this. Our club members hold you in high esteem, and we have confidence, we do, that each of you will represent all of us very well. Thank you for agreeing to serve on our senior leadership team and for being willing to uphold the high traditions of our club and our trust. Since we are in a different environment than we would normally be in to conduct the following oath, I'm going to ask that all incoming officers, that everybody stay on mute, because otherwise there'll be a cacophony and it'll be offset and it'll be a mess. So I ask all the incoming officers to stay on mute, but those that are being sworn in right now, please raise your hand for the oath for incoming officers. Thank you. Directors, trustees, and please say along with me in your whatever room you're in. I, say your name, do solemnly pledge that I will fulfill the responsibilities and duties of my office to the best of my ability and will abide by our club's and trust's constitution and bylaws. Thanks to each of you for your willingness to serve and your dedication to our club. I, Kate Ertman, current president of the Rotary Club of Portland, declare the new officers and directors installed. Okay, here we go. I would now like to ask our vice president to unmute herself, please, and to raise her hand for her oath. And I'm going to move my little thing here so I can see her. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Where's Ruth? Oh, there's so many faces here. I know, she's probably on one of my other screens, but I want to make sure I'm seeing her. There she is. Fantastic. Okay, here we go. Okay, Ruth's hand is up. Do you, Ruth Shelley, as president of the Rotary Club of Portland, solemnly pledge that you will faithfully execute the office of president of Rotary Club of Portland, and that you will be, to the best of your ability, support our district governor, Rotary District 5100, Rotary International, and the Rotary Foundation, and that you will uphold the Constitution and the bylaws of this club?
I do.
Fellow Rotarians, please welcome our new president of Rotary Club of Portland, President Ruth Shelley.
Well, thank you, President Kate. And good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. I hope you can hang on for a few more minutes. Let me say that again on behalf of all of us. Thank you, President Kate. A year ago, when you were in my new president's shoes, who would ever have imagined how the world would change? How fortunate we were as a club to have you at the helm when the COVID-19 crisis hit. You responded quickly and skillfully steered our ship through challenging waters. You transitioned us to online meetings, redoubled committee work, encouraged virtual fellowship, and advanced membership recruitment and retention. That, as you pointed out, resulted in a net positive growth for the fiscal year. What an accomplishment. One last time, let's all commend President Kate with a round of applause. So now it's my turn, and I have to say again, gee, thanks. For here we are as a society and as a club facing the triple whammy of a global pandemic, economic downturn, and racial unrest. Any incoming president with half a brain would have looked for the nearest door. And then I found it, not just one door, but three, on our new banner for the 2021 Rotary International Year, which you see right here. Our Rotary International President, Holger Knock, chose this logo and the theme, Rotary Opens Opportunities for the year beginning tomorrow. Siobhan, could you please share the logo with us? Indeed, in the past 3 months, it feels as if doors have been closing, if not slamming in our faces. But here you see that the doors are open with opportunity. Thanks for that slide. Now, which doors closed and which open? First, COVID-19 closed the door on in-person gatherings to safeguard public health. This eliminated not only our weekly lunches, but also in-person committee meetings, social occasions, and service events. But as this door closed, another opened, and the first door on our banner is the door of healing. In the midst of a pandemic, Rotary opens opportunities to heal together as a club and as a country. You'll never hear me use the term social distancing, but rather physical distancing. We as club members may be physically distant, but you all have shown tremendous creativity in prioritizing and strengthening Rotary relationships in numerous virtual ways, from Zoom meetings and happy hours to recipe exchanges. And let us remember our history as Rotarians in facing pandemics like polio head on. Has this new virus opened a door of opportunity for the 1.2 million Rotarians worldwide to take up a new challenge? Next, COVID-19 closed the door of economic growth. Many of our club members and the people we support through our service projects lost their jobs. Rotarians laid off employees, including myself, and closed their businesses. Retirement accounts and our own Rotary trust funds took a hit as the market fell. But as this door closed, another opened, and the second door on our banner is the door of recovery. In the midst of an economic downturn, Rotary opens opportunities for members to support each other in tough economic times. When one of us is struggling, another might be able to offer a boost with a referral, a lead, or just a word of encouragement. The moment is now for us to support our trust, our committees, and service projects with both treasure and time to help those in far worse economic straits. Finally, we need to use this opportunity to ensure the financial sustainability of our own club, using lessons learned from this pandemic to run more cost effectively, even when better times return. Finally, COVID-19 revealed a door that has been closed for centuries, and that is the door of racial justice. President Kate led our club leadership in issuing a statement that Black Lives Matter, because to be silent is to be complicit in the structural racism that plagues our society. But as this door of racial injustice was found to be temporarily closed, another opened. And the third door on our banner is the door of peace building. We cannot be a club of just nice words. We must be a club of action. Rotary Club of Portland has always been a leader in peace building initiatives. There is no more critical time to enhance and focus those efforts and those of our club to build a world that, in the words of our four-way test, is fair and beneficial to all concerned, regardless of race or ethnicity. My fellow Rotarians, let us not bemoan the doors that have closed to in-person gatherings, economic growth, or racial justice. Instead, let us look to the coming year as one of opportunity, open doors to healing, to recovery, and peace building. Please join me in walking through these doors with optimism and enthusiasm. And in paraphrasing our four-way test, it is the truth that we will persevere. We will strive together to build a society that is fair to all concerned. In doing so, we will build goodwill and better friendships. And finally, the coming year will be beneficial to all concerned, to you as current club members, to our future club members, and finally to those whose lives we touch in service above self. Thank you for the honor and opportunity to be your president for the coming year. And now, as your new president, it's my pleasure to thank all of our many speakers at today's meeting. And for those guests who joined us, I was especially pleased to see the little ones on the screen. We offer heartfelt congratulations to Angel and Darren on their awards, appreciation to our outgoing President Kate and board members, and a warm welcome to our incoming board members and officers. Your service above self keeps our club strong and vibrant. As we enter into a new Rotary year tomorrow, please join me in opening the doors of opportunity to healing, to recovery, and peace building. As Rotarians, we are here to make our world healthier, more sustainable, and with justice for all. I wish you all a safe and enjoyable 4th of July weekend, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.